Hey, I'm returning to working on the Atari Liberator PCB. The last time I looked at this, I was trying to track down a problem with D1 coming off the processor. Let's see if I can find it. D1 pin 32 coming off the processor. It's a localized bus. It only goes basically to a transceiver and a buffer. The transceiver goes to the rest of the board, and the buffer goes only to the ROMs. So this guy here goes only to the ROMs. You can see D1 right there. I tried replacing this chip, which is right here. I've replaced it, and it made no difference. The D1 still looks bad, but I realized something. I realized that the code on the ROM might be bad, so I double checked it, and I created the original ROM in 2018, and I did it in the wrong order. And after I realized that, I redid it in the right order, and then I realized further, after that ROM didn't work, that the upper the upper 4 kilobytes, I should say, of the ROM are addressed to the same. So in other words, I have to duplicate the uppermost 2K bytes of ROM data in the image before I burn the EEPROM. And the reason that is needed is when the 6502 processor resets, it has to jump to a very high address to grab the reset vector. And without that data there, it was getting FF, and that's a no-op, or it jumps to the end of the address space, and there's nothing for it to do there, and so it just no-ops. So once I realized that, and I realized it from this, okay? Well, actually, not that one. Hold on. I realized it because of the address decoding. So the ROMs for the data for ROM 6, in other words, the uppermost 2K bytes of the ROM data, is addressed whenever A15 is high and A14 is high, but A12, A13 has to be high, but A12 can be 1 or a 0, and it's going to address the same, it's going to enable the same ROM. So this OR gate is what is the trick. If A12 is low or A12 is high, it's always going to enable ROM. So that means you have to double that image in the ROM that has to be burnt. Don't know if that's clear or not to anybody, but I just wasn't paying attention when I built the ROM, and I figured it out after maybe half an hour because I burnt the ROM in the proper order and it still didn't work. Anyway, here's the new ROM, and I've installed it. I don't even need this chip, I don't think. This should not be needed, because all it is doing is buffering the data coming from the ROMs, but I don't need these ROMs anymore. I have the ROM here, so I should be able to remove that. It's not even needed. I'm leaving it there for now, but I'll probably remove it later. It won't be needed. So when I turn this on, it's actually starting to do stuff now. This is in self-test. So I'm getting beeps for a bad RAM. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The 7th beep is bad. When you look it up in the manual, that is saying T10 is bad. So this one here needs to be replaced. I bet more than just that one needs to be replaced, but this one definitely is coming up bad in the self-test. So that's where we are. I'm going to replace that, and then I'm going to be using my little 4164 adapter board there, and let's see if we can get past that RAM error at least. So I've replaced this, and I'm getting a bunch of RAM errors now, including this one. So that kind of tells me there's something else going on. These may all be bad, but this one's not going to be bad. I also tried putting another 4116 RAM there, and it also came up bad. So I need to probe and look at the signals and try to figure out what logic problem we have that's causing all of these RAMs to fail. The only one that's not failing is one of these in the center. So let me get the scope out and let me probe around. Maybe I can figure out something. All right, so I haven't fixed it yet. I think I'm making progress. Obviously, major progress has been made because the program loop is working and we're getting the self-test to run. Probing around, I noticed that this PIX 1 and PIX 0 signals coming off of this octolatch, octolatch, the LS374. I noticed that those guys were floating, and so I replaced that chip. It was right here, and you'll notice that these pins are up because I was testing something, but replacing it didn't fix the problem. If it is a problem, I'm pretty sure it is. Those are floating. Those PIX 1 and PIX 0 signals are fed into, let's see, they're fed into here, into this PROM, which generates the right pulse signals for the RAMs. So these signals may not be correct because these signals are missing. So that's what I'll be working on next. It's getting late today, so I'm going to go ahead and stop. But that's where I'm at, trying to figure out why PIX 1 and PIX 0 have no signal. They're just floating. And even though these are doing things, it may not be doing the right thing to get the RAMs to work properly. So I will be focusing on this write protect circuit. I'll be focusing on the PIX 0 and PIX 1, trying to figure out that. But yeah, another thing, this section here, this circuit here, the bit map address decoders, I don't think any of these chips are bad, but the bit MD signal, and this is the same name. One should be inverted the other. I'm not sure which is correct, but one of those two signals helps to generate the PIX 1 and PIX 0 signals. So anyway, like I said, that'll be what I'm focused on next time, and for now, that's it.